our previous sessions. Okay.
Sir, yesterday class, 1 or 2 minutes. Can you explain, sir?
Yesterday class.
In 5 minutes, you can explain, sir. Yesterday, I'm
Okay.
absent.
Okay. So anyway, that is DHCP we discussed yesterday. Okay. Discussed about a DHCP. What is DHCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So only highlighted points I will tell. Okay. So yesterday we discussed about a DHCP. So Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Port number 6768. Okay. So whenever you have a IP address, so like your system having an IP address, or maybe your mobile phone, or your tablet, right? Your computer, to communicate in the network, you must have an IP address. You must have a IP address. Okay. So we can assign IP address manually, or you can get an IP address from the DHCP server. So what it is? Either you configure IP address to your computer or laptop manually, or automatically you will get IP address from the DHCP server. So if you are configure, it is a static IP address. If you are got it, that is a dynamic IP address. So what is this DHCP server? Assign IP address to the client devices automatically. Okay. So whenever you configured yourself, if it is a one PC, two PC, it is. Do we have a things like a multiple computers are there? It is very difficult to assign more computer, like 100 computer, 200 computers, different type of devices. Like nowadays we are getting Wi-Fi printers, we are getting Wi-Fi printers, mobile phones, tablets, kind of stuff. It's very difficult to. It is very difficult to assign IP address. Okay. Next one is whenever you change your network, means you connect in one network and next you are connected to different network, means you went to somewhere, their connection you are done. So automatically your IP address won't change if you configure manually. Again, you have to configure manually. Okay. And you may enter a IP address wrongly. So how I tell that one, because of I've seen a lot of people, so they whenever they entering a IP address, they do mistakes. Like instead of 168, they put 16. Instead of 16, they put 168. Okay, like that. So 192 instead of 192, they put 190 only. Okay, so I said 192.168.2.10. They put a 21.20 something like that. So by mistake, so mistakes may happen when you are entering. Okay, lot of administrative work, conflicts may occur by because of your may assign two or more systems with the same IP address. Conflicts may occur. Okay, so that is the problems with your static and advantages and disadvantages of static IP address or manual IP address. What is this dynamic IP address? Okay, guys, whatever it is, for a servers, for any servers, you must configure IP address manually. You must configure IP address manually. Next, what is this use of this DHCP dynamic automatic kind of IP address? So whenever you want to give an IP address to the clients, okay, client computer means you have a huge number of devices are there, different type of devices are there. So we can easily give IP address from DHCP server. So it is reduce the administrative burden. Okay, it reduce the administrative burden. So no mistakes in that one IP address because machine is automatically giving an IP address, right? So it is not a typing mistakes won't happens. Conflicts are very less or no conflicts will occur. If it is occur, it resolves the conflicts automatically. Any two IP addresses are same, automatically conflict will occur. DHCP rollback that kind of stuff, and again reassign a new IP address to device. Okay, so users don't require to know how to configure IP address, how to put an IP address and all. Simply they connect the network, automatically they will get a IP address. Very simple example, you have a mobile phone, you connect a Wi-Fi, then automatically your Wi-Fi router giving you IP address. You are not giving any IP address. Some people having a doubt like, sir, we never configure IP address, it is automatically there in your computer. It is there. How it is there? Because of your Wi-Fi router is giving you an IP address. You are not using any specific Windows server or Linux server there, but your router act like a DHCP server. Understand, guys? In our home networks or office networks, in a home and office networks, whenever you connected to your router, means whenever you connected to network, in that router or a DHCP server giving you an IP address. Okay. For example, I have a Wi-Fi adapter is there. I got IP address from my Wi-Fi adapter. I don't have any separate DHCP server to get an IP address. Okay. It is not fixed inside your computer. It's not belongs to your computer. IP address given from your router only directly. Okay. So one central server will give IP address to multiple devices. I didn't give you multiple computers here. I given multiple devices. Why? Because of not only a laptop or a desktop, also your mobile phone, tablets, and a lot of other devices like a printers also coming, like a Wi-Fi based or wide based networking, network based devices are there nowadays. Okay, so obviously IoT devices also there, Wi-Fi enabled, built-in and Wi-Fi enabled is there, right? Obviously, they are also getting an IP address from DHCP server. That is it. So who can be a DHCP server? So Windows server, we have a DHCP role. Linux and Unix servers also you can install DHCP role. Okay, you can check the Wi-Fi router. Your Wi-Fi routers or normal routers also act like a DHCP server. Okay, so this is so about first point of DHCP server. So first it is in interview like means if a question asks what is DHCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Okay. So it provide IP address, it assign IP address to the client devices automatically. Okay. It assign IP address to devices automatically. This is a point. So what is DHCP? Abbreviation Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DHCP server assign IP address to client devices automatically. Okay. So advantages of DHCP. So don't need to compare both the things. Only go with the directly advantages of DHCP. Less administrative work. When you change your network, automatically you will get an IP address. Less of the mistakes and less conflicts. Okay, or no mistakes, no conflicts kind of stuff. You can say. Okay, so user don't require to know how to assign IP address. It automatically assign IP address to the devices. So different type of devices are there in the network. So we can easily assign the IP addresses. Okay, so like if in case they ask like what are the DHCPs are like in your home, you can say like a Wi-Fi router. My Wi-Fi router give me an IP address. Okay, how to check your IP address? IP config and ipconfig/all. If you go to the ipconfig space/all, you'll get a DHCP address, DNS address, okay, DHCP server address, DNS address, and lease duration, okay, DHCP enabled or not, MAC address. This information you will get it, guys. Compulsory ipconfig and ipconfig space/all differences. Find it. Okay, when it is a DHCP enabled S is showing means you got IP address from DHCP server. Also check it your DHCP server address, so then you will understand what is your DHCP server. If in case you got an IP address like this, you got an IP address like this, meaning is you got a IP address, you didn't get IP address from DHCP server, you got a IP address, which is you failed to get IP address from DHCP. DHCP server use Dora process, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. DHCP process use Dora process, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Guys, always remember, server don't give anything to anyone. Okay, initially, client has to request. Whenever the client is requested, server will give. Like, even though your client is doing a group policy, so client request for a what are the settings assigned for him, for assigned to it, like a you for a user or a computer. So then server will give. Otherwise, server won't give to anyone. Okay, so user has to request. Okay, client has to request. HTTP request, FTP request, like that. Okay, if you request, you will get it. Same thing, client don't have an IP address, so client has to discover DHCP server. Discover DHCP server. So client broadcast DHCP discover packets. Okay, whenever the server, if in case in your network so DHCP server is there, it offers IP address to client. Okay, and the client request for an IP address to DHCP server. DHCP server send an acknowledgement with the full configuration of IP address and other options and lease durations it will configure. Okay, so what is the Dora process? Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Okay, a lot of people think like guys, sir, it is not there in previous questions, very less time only it is asked, they don't ask. Again guys, again yesterday I told, and means yesterday or day before yesterday somewhere I told, I or not, I didn't remember, but listen carefully guys, there is no less in our in our interviews. So you can't say like a these questions they don't ask. Okay, these questions they don't ask. We will study only these 100 questions, definitely questions from here, and we'll pass in the interview. Don't put that thing in your mind. Okay, don't think that kind of stuff in your mind. You have to be open-minded. You have to be open-minded, guys, because in certain interviewer wish to ask you any question. He may ask you questions from your engineering. He may only ask questions from your resume. He may ask you only questions from about what you spoken. He ask a question, what is your subject, which subject you are more familiar. You say like I know Java. Then he will ask questions from Java. Based on your answer, you will ask another question. Okay, you will ask another question. Okay, so based on your answers, you will get it the questions. You will get a questions from your resume. They will ask upload your resume. Once you are upload a resume, they will see your project, your background and all. They'll ask from it. So you don't need to think like they will ask from IT only. They will ask from mechanical, civil, or in any depends upon your which branch you are belongs to it. What is your favorite subject? What is your favorite subject? Like that, they will ask any question. Be open-minded, guys. So that's why I don't like to share any questions. Already I shared some questions, but I don't like to share the questions directly. Why? Because of people will study, like a lot of people ask questions. So like, sir, if we study this one, guarantee we'll pass the exam, pass the interview. No, no, no. It's not like that. There is no less, no more is there. Last time one guy is not selected. So I ask him like, why you are not selected? Sir, we prepared everything very big one. Like we prepared for higher questions like cloud computing and DevOps related very big questions we prepared. We went to the interview questions and we prepared very big questions only. We ignore the small questions and they ask all small questions only about Windows 10, Windows servers, very basics only like DHCP, DNS, networking related questions only they asked. So they didn't ask big questions. They ask only one or two questions only, but All remaining are very low level questions only, 0 level questions only. I am unable to answer it because of I didn't prepare it. But for that batch also I told same thing, guys. There is no less, no more. Networking, very important topic. Your Windows 10, Windows servers, everything. Even though there is no question in a particular topic, also they will ask some questions like, what are the practicals you done in Windows 10? That's one question. Some people don't answer that one also. So I'm frankly telling, guys. Okay. So one girl last time, that's previous batch, last year batch only, she got selected luckily because she given all answers previously. Last question is, what are the practicals you have done in Windows 10? Is she unable to tell an answer? But she got selected because almost like previously 10-15 questions she given correct answer. Last question only that is not given. Okay. Does not mean it is okay kind of stuff. My meaning is you have to go with everything. No need to do hard work. Very simple thing is go once, go through once. If you go through once, twice, thrice, like that, so you will understand what is the subject it is. So you can become a open-minded. Okay, that's my point. That's why I'm telling these things again and again because it's very basic things. Okay, Dora, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So we done a practical yesterday. So that is, we created a scope. This is my network. Within my network range only, I have to create a scope. So for example, I have 100 computers. I have to put a minimum 100 IP addresses range in my scope. This is also one question. One guy got this question. Okay. So remaining is practicals only. So how to change IP address? So compulsory, you have to go to first option. Okay, this is to check the IP address. To change it. So you have to select obtain IP address automatically. Then you will get IP address from DHCP. Yesterday I explained Dora process and as well as of course practical with APIPA. So what is this APIPA? Whenever you see in your IP address, if it is first two are look like this one, 169.254, first two octets look like 169.254, meaning is you got IP address in the range of APIPA, automatic private IP address. So what is this? If you are getting, if client get failure to get IP address from DHCP server, client is unable to get IP address from DHCP server. Reason can be anything. It's maybe a problem of DHCP server or a scope is expired, scope problem, or some deny kind of stuff. So any problem or maybe disconnected. Okay. So you have to check it and solve the problem. If still problem is not solved, means DHCP is working and as well as connections, everything problem solved from the DHCP server side. At the client side, you are still getting this IP address. You can use these commands or you can disable, enable your network adapter. Yeah, what happening? Disable and enable network adapter. So also I told about this thing. Sometimes you change the network. Your network is got changed. You have two networks in the your organization. Okay, so for example, in my hometown and as well as Pune office, one is a Airtel, another in Pune office we have a Airtel connection and as well as a U broadband connection. Sometimes U broadband is not working, so what we will do, we'll connect a Airtel network. But network is changed, IP address won't be changed. Okay, so what we will do, we have to do either enable, disable the network adapter or go to command prompt ipconfig release ipconfig /renew. So we have to remove the existing configuration by release and renew by get IP address from DHCP server. Same thing we can also do it if you got a APIPA address. What to do? First of all, check your DHCP server related issues, solve it, and still you are getting an IP address like this. You have to give IP config release, IP config renew, or disable enable network adapter. Guys, there is a space is there. Okay, this is the yesterday I talked about a DHCP dynamic host configuration protocol, port number 6768. DHCP server assign IP address to the client devices automatically, or you can tell in a little different way, no problem. Okay, it provide IP address to clients automatically. So I am telling it is assign is a better word. Assign IP address to the clients devices automatically. Okay, advantages of DHCP. So less administrative work, more number of devices and the different type of devices is there, so you can easily give IP address through DHCP server. More number of devices or different type of devices in the network. Okay, so you can give IP address very easily. Next is less mistakes compared to manually. Less mistake or no mistakes, no conflicts will occur. Conflicts resolve automatically. Conflict resolve automatically. Centrally, we are distributing an IP addresses to every device. Okay, every device. So user don't require to learn how to assign IP address, because of he will get IP address from DHCP server. Okay, in generally in our homes we got IP address to our mobile phone through our routers. Okay, in generally we have a Wi-Fi routers nowadays in our home internet connections. The Wi-Fi router act like a DHCP server, and it is whenever we connected to Wi-Fi, we got IP address from Wi-Fi router. Okay, when you are connected to the Wi-Fi router, so we got IP address from. Okay, so if you have any chance to see how Wi-Fi routers works, what is a wireless access point, what is access point, what is modem, please check it. Okay, these are a very general, guys. It's sometimes interviewer will go down to the what we can say very general things, not technically strong things. It may not go, but sometimes it will go. So what is router? What is how you are getting internet? How do you know you are getting internet? Okay, if you don't get internet, what do you do? So general basic questions only. Okay, so explain the Wi-Fi LED lights. Okay, so troubleshooting related, maybe a browser is not working, or maybe a website is not open, what to do? What is modem? So general question, what is modem? What is router? What is switch? Like it's a very basic general questions it is. Okay, voice again little level 0. You'll go to minus levels. Like normally a person knows. Those questions also they may ask questions. Okay. Next, DHCP use Dora process. DHCP use Dora process. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Okay. So client send a discovery packets. So sorry, client broadcast discovery DHCP discovery packet. Server receive a discovery packet and broadcast the IP offer to the client. The client receive a IP offer from the DHCP server and send a DHCP request. Okay, so then server receive a request and send an acknowledgement with the IP address configuration and DHCP DNS gateway configurations, and as well as a lease duration. So this is about your DHCP, guys. Why I'm telling 4 or 5 times of DHCP? If anybody got a DHCP related question, this is answer. Start with the DHCP. What is DHCP abbreviation? What it will do? Benefits, process. These are 4 points are very important. Okay. You have to continuously tell, strongly you have to tell. What is DHCP? What it will do? Advantages of DHCP. Advantage of DHCP and DHCP process. These are the points you have to compulsory tell. Okay. So remaining are just you have to know it. If they ask question, then only based on that you can able to answer. So who is your DHCP server, and how do you know whether IP address came from DHCP or not, like that. So how do you design a scope, how to put a scope. Okay, so it depends upon your network and depends upon number of computers, number of devices required IP address. So that based on that we will take it, right? So compulsory. This is also practically also they are asking questions recently. Our people address is also very important. So we'll see that one. Okay. Next one is DHCP lease duration, because already I told don't give we are also sometimes skip the certain points because of time related kind of stuff. Now it is see, normally I took a classes morning and evening. So within 3 to 4 days, means almost like a 4 days it will take, full days, 4 days, we have to complete a Windows server. Actually they will given a 3 days only, but I will take 4 days to complete the Windows server. But now I am taking off days. So obviously time is not enough. So we will miss the points. So you should not miss the points. You have to check it. What are the points? I'm missing it. So you have to search it, or maybe you can ask me anytime, or maybe the related information or video like that. So you can do it. Okay, guys, this is a lease duration. Okay, 1 second. Okay, we'll take like this. This is my server. These are my clients. What DHCP server will do? Tell me. What DHCP server will do?
It will assign the IP addresses to the clients.
Very good. It assign a IP address to the client. So of course, there is a Dora process is there, but directly we say it has an IP address to the client. Very good. Now I assign an IP address. For example, this is I'm writing last one only. I'm not writing from starting. Okay. Okay. So enter IP address, whatever it is, first three portions. I'm writing in a last portions only, just for understanding purpose. Okay, if I write every portion means it will take time. Someone send a message. Okay, very good. Okay, so it is given IP address to the clients, and what it will do, it note down that one. C1 as an IP address. Okay, .11. C2 as an IP address .12. C3 as an IP address .13. Okay, so it note down, it take a list and note down. So as for C1 I given 11, for C2 I given .12, I given a 13 for a C3. It note down that one. Okay, next, and it will store this thing. It will continue. Will be here only. But how long? How long it will maintain this list for each and every device? Each and every device. It is based on the lease duration. By default, lease duration is 8 days. The wired network 8 days, wireless network 6 days. Okay, by default. Okay, for example, for understanding, or maybe no lease duration. Think like about a no lease duration, not 8 days duration. I'm telling no lease duration, no expiry date. Someone send a message, but I don't know who you sent. Okay, so we'll see things like a no lease duration. For example, I have a list. Okay, and I given something like a, for example, 100 IP address. I have a 100 PCs. Okay, I have 100 computers are there. So first PC1, I give an IP address. PC2, I give an IP address. PC3, I give it like that. 100 IP addresses are assigned as per my list. Okay, as per my list already given. As per my list already given. 100 computers, IP addresses I given from my DHCP server. Now, what happened? Something is happened like out of 100 computers, I removed 20 computers. Now, how many computers are there? How many computers are there? 80 computers are there. Okay, so I have 100 computers, 100 IP addresses. Fully, I given 100 IP addresses are given. But 20 computers I removed from the network. Now computers are 80, but as per my list, already I given 100 IP addresses. Okay, already I given 100 IP addresses. As per my list, 100 IP addresses are used. 100 IP addresses are used, completed. But I have currently 80 computers only. Now I got some 5 computers now extra. Again, now it is total network is 85. Think it is. Okay. Now 5 new computers are came. Means total computers are 85. Total IP addresses are 100. But available addresses are 0. Because as per my list, I given all IP addresses are used. Understand, guys? Any doubt? Any doubts? Okay. Look at here. Again, I'm telling guys, 100 computers are there, 100 IP addresses are there. I already given 100 IP addresses to the 100 computers. And I put a list. As per my list, all 100 computers listed means computer name, IP address given in the server. Now I remove 20 computers. The number of computers now is 80. Okay, but as per my list, there is 100 computers, 100 IP addresses already given. I added 5 computers. Add 5 computers. Now total computers are 85 and total IP addresses are 100. So there is a free IP addresses should be available, right? But no free IP addresses. Why? Because of as per my list already given. So what will happen if you change anything, any system, computer, you don't get any IP address. Your IP addresses will be over. Your IP addresses will be over. This is my router, current router. Okay, see here it is. You can see the list who are connected to my computer. So who is this? Kapilesh. So I don't have any, I don't know any Kapilesh here. Poco also we don't have. This is mine. This is my computer, I think. Honor we don't have. So Honor may be the next guy. This is mine. This is mine. And this is a computer. I don't have 2 computers here. And there is some main computer now. Okay, we check it. So this is my WAN status. This is my LAN status. Okay. I will go to my DHCP server. So this is to whom I assign IP address list. Even the router also will maintain this kind of stuff. Who is this Kapilesh? And Poco M2. You don't know my network, right? So I have to check this is my computer or a different computer. And that too mine is a wide connection. It is very dangerous. So this is another one, like you can allow or disallow butler networks. This is devices offline to whom we are connected. Through your router. Okay. So it will note down that to whom you are connected earlier, the devices you block. Like this. This is I want to tell, but no one is speaking. I will lost my interest also. No problem. Just a final point I will tell about lease duration. Look at here. At one, what the problem here? You don't get a free IP addresses. Means if devices are not there, but still you think you are given IP address. Okay. So what is this? This is the lease duration. The lease duration. Think about 4 hours lease duration. 4 hours lease duration. Okay. So 4 hours lease duration. This is a 4 hours lease duration. Think about lease duration is 4 hours. Morning 10 o'clock. I got a IP address. Morning 10 o'clock. I got IP address. Some IP address. I got it for a client. So for client got a IP address morning 10 o'clock. For example, C1 got IP address at morning 10 o'clock. 4 hours lease duration means again we have to add like a 4 hours means 11, 12, 13, 14 like that, right? 4 hours total lease duration means expiry is at here. So it will expires This is obtained. This is expire. Expire at 1400 means 2 o'clock. Okay. So guys, at a 50% of total lease duration, at 50% of total lease duration, IP address, okay, at 50% of total lease duration, your client send a request. You know, in a Dora process, you have a Dora process, right? In a Dora process, last two are there now. Request and acknowledgement, same thing only. You don't read it to do Dora, means discover offer is not required, but it is required request and acknowledgement only. Request and acknowledgement only. So the client send a request, the server client send a request, and the server what is the request here? Extend my lease duration. Extend my lease duration. So server send an acknowledgement. Yes. Take the extension of lease duration. Then again, next 4 hours, it will extend. Next 4 hours. At 50% of lease duration. 50% means 2 hours. This is in a 2 hours from obtain like a 10 o'clock means at a 12 o'clock. Lease renewal process will start. It means client send a request, please extend my lease duration. Okay, and your server will send an acknowledgement. Lease duration is extended. New lease duration again 4 hours extended. So at a 2 o'clock, sorry, at 12 o'clock. Okay, now it's at 12 o'clock. It is uptime. Means the current one is 16. This is the expiry time, new expiry time. It is a new expiry time. Like this, it keep extending your lease duration. Understand, guys? It's just like a
Yes, sir.
your rent process, or maybe you can say it is like your bus pass renewal. We do it, right? Bus pass renewal, like a rental agreements, rental renewals. We do it. So what we will do it? So before expiry only, so we are going to extend our pass, right? Like that. So same thing only. Yeah, tell me, guys. Now someone is telling something, but it is very low voice. I am unable to hear. Okay. So at 50% of lease duration, it will be extended. Okay. Lease duration by default 8 days. Lease duration by default 8 days. Okay. That is if you are using a wired. Okay. Wireless is 6 days only. Next, what is the use of this lease duration? So you have to take it. Okay. 50% of lease duration, at 50% of lease duration, at 50% of lease duration. Okay. So client send request for extension. Okay. Request for a extend lease duration. and server and acknowledgement. Client with lease duration. Okay. So this is the first point I told. But if client failed at 50% of to renew IP address, means extending lease duration, renew IP address at 50% of lease duration. of lease duration, then what will happen? Now, okay, client tries again at 87.5% of lease duration. Okay, 87.5% of lease duration at that time. So it will try again to renew IP address lease duration. So again, same thing. Now here it is. If in case 100% lease duration completed, client completed, client not updated, and not renewed IP address, server remove the client and IP address information from address list. Okay, so that is we seen in a server. We seen that thing in a server. So actually it is a list. I showed no list. Okay, it remove the client's IP address from the list. So that is what I trying to tell you. It is if you are unable to obtain, this is your client is down, disconnected, you removed a client completely. Server waits till up to 100% completion of lease duration. Once expiry, remove from the list. So then IP address become free. So that IP address is become, so that IP address become available. Server can assign to other devices. Okay, so that is the thing. Next, in a client side, guys, again client side, the client don't have IP address now, 100% completed. After 4 hours you came to computer, or next day you start your computer, you don't have an IP address. Okay, has no IP address now. Okay, nothing, no IP address. Now what to do? Again, Dora process. Renew. In a renew process, only request and acknowledgement, not entire Dora. Why? Because of discover offer. We are already discovered, you know already where is the DHCP server, so no need of discover. You don't require offer because you're already having an IP address. Okay, so guys, this is a lease duration. Okay, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. What is the lease duration? So lease duration is a time period. It is a time period. So once lease duration is completed and client is not renewed, the client not renew its IP address, any reason, client not renewed before expiry, so then automatically server remove the client and client related IP address information from it. Okay, so that is the main thing. That is the main thing. Okay, so that is, you have to check it. Okay, so here again, okay, so again, so we'll see here it is. Yeah, so you have to renew before expiry. The first renew process starts at 50% of total lease duration. Okay, if you are failed at 50% of lease duration, so next 87.5% of total lease duration renew process will start, and 100% of lease duration completed. So obviously you don't get an IP, you don't have any IP address now, so obviously you are expired. And in a server also it removes your name and information. Okay, so then this IP address is become available, so it can able to assign to someone or same. No, so sometimes, always I will get same IP address because of it's in a cache or somewhere it will stores like this. This is my IP address. It will always store like this. Okay. So this is also we don't know. So that's why I removed. This is also dot means which is one. It's 80, 184. This is my laptop, my tablet, sorry, my other phone, that is Motorola phone. It shows as a Lenovo, and I don't have echo dot or removed echo dot. Okay, and there is a tablet. This is my Samsung mobile phone, guys. So your IP addresses will always Wi-Fi connections and IP address always store based on the MAC address, MAC binding. Okay, so computer, your Wi-Fi router, your DHCP server don't know what is your computer name and all kind of stuff, but it will understand by your MAC address first. Okay, so it will listed your MAC address and IP address. So like that it will store. Okay, within the limited time means before expiry you are extending, it will keep getting same IP address. Otherwise, you won't get it. Next one is blocking. Blocking is so you enter a MAC address of a particular device, automatically you won't get an IP address. Automatically you won't get any IP address. 1 second. This is Realme tablet. Oh, yeah, it is not connected. Very good. 1 second, I am connecting my tablet. So here, yeah. This is always irritates. Why it is unable to connect? Yeah, I think I blocked the network. Okay. We'll go to devices. So which device? Blacklight. Yeah, I connected. So this device is mine only. Okay, this device is mine. I just blocked it. Okay, I don't know these two devices. I don't use these devices. As I remembered, I don't have any Poco M2, and also I don't know who is Kaplish. Okay, because of name confusion, this dot dot kind of stuff. Even I didn't remember what is this device also. Honor maybe my one, so we don't know. Okay, so in a DHCP, there is a MAC binding is there. What is a MAC binding? So if I enter a MAC address of a PC, for example, I have a C4 PC, I enter a MAC address of C4 PC here, and I said don't give IP address to C4 PC, and automatically C4 PC won't get IP address. Okay, or I allow these MAC addresses and remaining don't allow. That is also MAC binding. Usually when you are using a Wi-Fi, so compulsory you have to check it, how many devices you are currently running, how many devices you are really connected. Okay, it depends upon your router, you have to check it. If any unauthorized users are using, you will know it, and you can disable it. Okay, so that's it. What I'm trying to say is, this is a wireless, and this is I will tell my DHCP related things I want to try to tell you. So this is WAN status, and no, just I want to show you DHCP configuration. This is internet settings, DHCP setting. See, it is DHCP enabled. I got IP address from 192.168.2.100 to 250. 100 to 250. Okay, here it is. I got an IP address to some devices. Okay, and that the device MAC address. If I want to bind this particular device to this IP address, so always they will get a same IP. Just I'm trying to show you. So your Wi-Fi router also act like a DHCP server, and there also you can see the settings. If in case you are unable to see from your server. Okay, so that's the point. I don't know, so people understand or not also. So stop recording.